What's up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. I hope everyone's having a great day. We're into the close. We've got half an hour until that actually happens, and we've seen some interesting price action throughout today. So we'll take a look at everything right now. How's everyone going? Hopefully you're doing okay. Drop so far from the Nasdaq from the top to the bottom has been about 3.87%. So that's been, it's a decent little drop here. Decent little drop the last 2 days. Hit the 20 moving average, which is something that often does bounce. We're in Tuesday, the Tuesday session expected to be weak. We did mention that Monday, Tuesday can be weak in Thanksgiving week. Wednesday tends to be strong. So let's find out whether the stats lie or the stats are correct. Day before Thanksgiving tends to be a green day. We've actually seen some bounces here. So let's just talk about it. Nasdaq, 20 moving average. We see the bounce. Let's have a look at the smaller time frame and see how it's interacted with that zone. So we'll put a horizontal here, put a 15-minute on, and you'll notice it recovered off that zone quite nicely. So really at this stage, we've got like a little lightning bolt, 15-minute, break of that downtrend, and it looks like it's trying to recover. It's going to stop probably around here, which is the price of 16.3. And the reason why that is because it's a little bit of previous support acting as a little bit of resistance. And around this level makes sense for us to stop. Will we get green day in the next session, though? That's really the question that a lot of people will be asking. So let's move over to US 500 here, go through into the close, our expectations. Another one that's hit the 20 moving average. Again, as we hope, we hit these 20 moving average. We have that 2 days of sell-off, about 1.94% in total in terms of top to bottom. And now we're moving back up. Think of this as kind of like a 2-day long leg doji. In fact, I'll put it on. Good thing about trading views, you can do that. Oh, no, I can't because it's 2 different days. But basically, we have the low, the high, and the open and the close is kind of similar in the middle. So it's really just indecision at the peak in some ways. The bounce off this is to be expected. Volume has increased, which is again to be expected. The VIX is still under 20. I'm not too concerned. Some people seem to be really, really freaking out. There seems to be a repricing of stocks, but I'm not too concerned about it. Let's see what you guys think. Close is looking much better. Yeah, the close is looking quite fine. Obviously, through the trade day was a little bit more crazy. Let's go to the 15-minute here on the S&P 500. Very similar. In fact, even more well-considered, really. Got the base, got the base, got the base. Resistance broken through, at least from the 15-minute discussion point on the US 500. So it looks like it's really trying to strengthen up here a little bit. Much better into the close. Joanne Leo, Miami Beach luxury real estate funds left after today's show less than 50%. End of the session selling coming. Yeah, I don't know about that. I wouldn't think so. I think it might just hover around here. IWM for life, baby, says Gary Saini. Fair enough. We'll take a look at IWM in a second. Bullish engulfing candles. Yep. And could DraftKings finally be bottoming? Well, we'll find out. Welcome to the 300 people joining us. Thanks so much, guys. If you do smash that like button, it helps us out as well at the beginning. We'll take a look at the cryptos just after the close. Just give us time on the cryptos. So US 500, US 100, the story is both seem to have partially bottomed here on the smaller time frames. They both hit the daily 20. That is very important. We see that the Dow is actually up on the session. Now, that's because of the stocks that it's in. It's in obviously different sectors. And if we actually look at the FinViz chart, let's just go the 1 day here. So let's load this up together. It's because energy is doing okay. So we've got energy going well. What's that going to help? Of course, that's going to help the Dow. We've also got financials, real estate, and consumer defensives doing well. The main real destroying kind of markets have been things like tan, gold still struggling to kind of hold itself up as US dollar gets strong. Then we've got technology and semiconductors and all of those doing poorly. So a lot of you guys, obviously in semiconductors, technology, they're types of stocks that have done not so well. Tesla also, which is kind of like a hybrid of all of these things nowadays, it seems to have made a decision to go back down. So we theorized that would maybe happen after it hit 1200. In some ways, this could be as well a little bit of a bounce that still continues the consolidation. So I'm not convinced that it goes up. And part of that reason of not being convinced is what's happened in the past. We've moved up heavily, consolidated, moved up heavily, consolidated, moved up heavily, could be in consolidation. So we've got to be a little bit careful there on things like Tesla. Tesla seems to have made a decision to weaken here through the session. Some people will buy it at this zone because it's $1,100 at the close. I don't blame them. So you go to the 2 hour. I'll show you what I mean. They're just basically buying that 1,100. They're buying this average of buying pressure, and they're hoping for a green day on Wednesday. And I think that's a fair assumption, at least for the Wednesday session. $77. Welcome back, Sandollar. It's great to have you here. $4 with the super sticker. It says algos have been pounding small caps. Zoom out and take a deep breath. That's true, but there are some small caps where if you zoom out, Sandollar, you might have a freak attack, because there really has been some small caps that have gotten absolutely obliterated recently, and even some larger caps that have been obliterated. So 4.9% down on Tesla. Not so good. US 10-year, probably the story through the session today. Nice breakout here. We now expect this surely to breach these previous high and continue up. And that can put pressure, as we know, on the NAS. So be careful on some of the tech stocks here, because if you believe this is an inverse head and shoulders, this thing's coming off the trend line, it's going to continue to go up. When it goes through this level, it will shock some of the tech companies. Now, I'm not saying it shocks the whole market. Obviously, it's good for financials. Therefore, it also could be decent for IWM, because IWM has a lot of financials. Take a look at that in a sec. It could be decent for the Dow, so the US 30. And it also could be okay for the S&P 500 in generality. But it's not going to be good for the tech side of things. So the NAS is really the more shaky one if this US 10-year continues to come through. Dollar index continued to strengthen here. A little bit of extra bullish day. Bit more pressure on things like gold. Gold's come back to our trend line. It's bounced off this trend line. So you'll notice here, there's the bounce. Let's hope we get an actual turnaround story now. Scroll down to the 15 minutes, see if we've got anything. Absolutely very little. Very little. Maybe the start of the rebound. A little bit of base. Guess you would say it's just on a 15-minute change of trend. 15 minutes not necessarily good enough. Let's have a look at the 1 hour. So what we're looking for here is probably something like this. Good. It's a good one. PK Subban has a good one that's there. PK Subban says, is CRM going to run up into earnings? Well, CRM's come back to a really great level. Let's have a look. I literally have that on the chart over here. I was having a look at this myself. You guys know I like this stock. So the 50 moving average has been quite consistent with being a buy zone. Now, we do have 7 days until earnings. You never know with earnings itself. But yeah, it's come down to a correct level. That's off 310. So as a discount from the previous peak, we're looking at around 6.84%. So nothing too shabby. And certainly has been holding that 50 moving average on the daily quite well. Other than that, we don't have much to go off. 15-minute, similar, trying to turn around. And if it closes where it is right now, you'll have basically a long leg doji. So you'll know when you're confirming, let's say you like this level for whatever reasons in your system, you're really looking for a closure above this zone. So you're looking for it to close above the long leg doji. And then once it's done that, it's made the decision and we can continue to move up. So that'll be certainly quite nice. Other stories, Amazon actually holding the zone, which is nice to see. Long leg doji again. You can see so many market indecisions. Right at the correct level, previous resistance becoming support. We hope to see another green day here. This is still very open for a lot of people. 35.84, long leg doji, low, high, looking for a closure on the Wednesday session, hopefully a green session to the bull side. That'd be fantastic. Even Keen, $4.99. Thoughts on GME? Well, my thoughts are always the same on GME. I liked the technical yesterday, but I didn't like the earnings, and that's always going to be the same way. Unfortunately, While the technical looks good, you guys know that I absolutely despise going into earnings with any of these meme stocks. I just don't see, they've never been good. AMC is horrendous into earnings. So is GME. So it bounced and we looked at it. And from a technical perspective, it always looks good. But you got to realize that every one of these earnings reports is never going to be a good thing because you can't, the company's not truly worth this much. You know, we all know, well, I hope you guys know, it's not really worth $215. Therefore, when you bring out earnings, how good can they really be? They can't. I wish they could, but they can't. Amazon's done cheap chips, even Kenya. So I think the problem with GME is maybe it can recover after the earnings, after everyone's had like a bit of a fit about it. But yeah, I'm seeing it here: resistance, resistance, resistance. It's come back down to the 20. I'm looking for it to turn around, but yeah, I can't say I was surprised. Cheryl, Dow, we've already had a look at. Basically, the Dow looks okay, but they're all the same. All the indices are the same except for the NAS, which could suffer from the US 10-year strength that we're seeing. So notice the US 500 is turning completely around here. I said it in yesterday's video. I expect it to hit the daily 20 and then bounce. Did anyone get it that? Did anyone get it? Why? Because Monday and Tuesday are weak in the markets of Thanksgiving week. Wednesday, Friday, and the next Monday are statistically strong. In fact, the last 5 days of November are strong statistically. And they're strong from 1950s, data onwards. Like very, very decent. Net bullish they are. Apple held strong all day and the rest of the market was down. Apple did okay. I mean, holding a 160, 161. So did Amazon. I think Apple kind of hit what we liked, though, that 165 area. Alareza says Tom TDOC. Yeah, okay, we'll have a look at TDOC. I know it's low. It just keeps falling through, doesn't it? I guess it's going here to the 102. Unfortunately, TDOC just continuously gets obliterated. I'm not sure what the news is on it. I don't have a TDOC position at the stage. TDOC. Teledoc or Teledog? That's one of the things. Teledoc's fallen. I mean, it's getting very cheap on its PS ratio. Show you this. Look at that PS ratio, right back down to earth. Before the pandemic, it's trading at the same price. So you've got here the support of around that 8.3 level on the PS ratio. We're hitting that level again. So we're talking about a full-on collapse there of that stock, and it's going back down to very fair prices. In fact, it's been priced around this area PS ratio wise for a very long time. So if you believe in it, yeah, it's getting there fundamentally. From a technical level, it's just a falling knife. There's not much we can really do about it. $100 probably stops it. TDOC is interesting. Yeah, TDOC is interesting because it's getting towards a point where they actually had increased earnings. I mean, obviously they continuously failed, and I think you need to look at this report a lot more closely to see whether there's some deep kind of value in it. Someone said Shibu and Dogecoin dropped 35% on some exchange today. Is that true? Wow. So yeah, TDOC's coming up to a very interesting zone for an investor perspective. Ulrich Nielsen, DKK, $100. Evening, Tom. Hear me out. I could be wrong. It's possible we've done an Elliott wave count on S&P 500 and NAS, and we completed wave 5. We did A today, move up to B, and come down to C in early December. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't really go with Elliott wave, Ulrich. I feel like Elliott wave is so subjective and people draw all different waves, and in general it's okay for investment purposes, but trading you'll just get stuck all the time and you'll be in analysis paralysis. I feel it's not accurate enough to the current situation. Now some people disagree with me completely, and well done if you're using Elliott wave in your favor. It's not my kind of game. Not my jam, but I'll hear you out. And if you believe that we've completed wave 5, then that's cool. I don't tend to think that we're going into a period of weakness. I tend to think that we just have weakness here. But I've watched a lot of the best people, and I've spoken to guys that swear by Elliott wave over time, and I just can't get behind it. I don't see how you can use it other than investment in monstrous long term. And you know why I think you can use it there is because really what it's doing is it's giving you confidence. You're like, oh, yes, I love the dip. So, and you're getting excited about it all. You're getting excited because it's completing your waves. And I think that's cool because it's giving you confidence. And in a lot of ways, confidence is key. Let's go through some other stocks, though, because we only have a few minutes here. We've got 12. Thank you very much, Ulrich, as per usual. Ulrich picked some great charts, guys. You got to give him a massive shout out. He's got some good ones. He's got some bangers. He says, I'm sorry you don't consider all TA. I do consider all TA. I just can't use it myself. So I didn't say it was a joke. I said that I don't like to use it for my personal use. That's all. All right. Let's have a look at some other stuff here. Roku broken through the support over here. And we continue to see this declining. So in terms of where we go from this point, we go down to maybe like a 174. It's very possible with Roku. 200 will be just a psychological level for a lot of people. This stock just continuously falls off. And these are all these repricing stocks. So PS ratio kind of things. All these ones that have had this PS ratio on them. So price to sales ratio rather than anything else. Yeah, it's just not really working out there for these ones. And it seems to be across the board. Almost any of them that didn't hold up, they're all coming back down. Got Nvidia declining here a little bit. Long leg doji again. Try to figure out whether it's made decision made on either side. Close below or close above. I'll just have one more comment on that Elliott stuff. Remember, there's no problem with using any of these methods. It's just whether it works for you or not. And you got to stick in your lane. And this goes for anyone out there. Stick to what you think, what you know works and what's working for you. If you continue to overcomplicate stuff and add in things, like I don't use a whole bunch of different indicators, as you know, because for me, it overcomplicates the situation. Plus, I think that what we're using is I always like to understand the psychology of the market, and that's my way of things. So, yeah, I think that's really a decent bit of information for all of you. So TDOC 100 possible. CRM seems to have found support. What other stocks were we looking at here? What did you guys ask for? Seems to be quite a few. Well, Berto says, Tom, mining companies have boomed over the last week. Any thoughts? Could you have a look at LAC or ALB? Sure. But lithium's done very well, yes. With all these lithium miners, they tend to have really big spikes in them, and then they pump and dump. So just be careful there. So you can see on the left-hand side, we'll teach you that. Here's the pump. Here's the dump. guess it's at that level. Look, I think a lot of mining companies are doing slightly better. And I think if you look at something like, okay, let's go to BHP on the exchange here, you'll notice that even the iron ore companies are starting to bottom. Now, these could not be bottoming because you got your resistance here and obviously you got your double bottom. These could not be bottoming if they're truly concerned about Evergrande's situation. Remember, if the Evergrande, I think they've got that guy to pay $1 billion. Is that correct? Can anyone confirm? The one that was the CEO of Evergrande, is he paid $1 billion? $1 billion? So Ulrich says DKK $100. The joke thing was meant for someone else, Tom. Oh, no worries, man. And I find using more tools in my TA to build up confluence and higher probability of winning if they align fib levels, channels, etc., EMAs, etc. I agree with that concept, of course. If you have 3 to 5 separate reasons, and that's where you need to understand what the indicators you're using are, which I know you do. Separate reasons, fantastic. 3 to 5 separate reasons to build the story of your trade, of your investment, of your concept. And if Elliott's going to be one of them, no problems. Whatever it is, as long as they are separated, it's fantastic. Yes, I agree. But as I said, it's just personal preference. I don't use it. So notice the bottoming here of the BHP. This is an iron ore company, pretty much predominantly nowadays, and some precious metals. And there's the bottoming. We've got like a little bottom inside of the overall bottom. And imagine we break through 57. I mean, this thing's fallen a lot. Since the Evergrande situation, think about how much this is down. Big company, down 35%. It's a big company. I mean, Vale is the same. A lot of you guys will know Vale. So there's opportunity in these coming up. Do you have your magical chart showing the sector relative rotation graph? And is it showing any movements? Oh, lithium. Yeah, relative rotation graph. You can search it in. Well, relative rotation graphs are just circles. So basically, it just goes from lagging to improving to declining. There's the lagging. There's the improving. And just basically says that sectors will continuously kind of circle around and get rotated into. At this stage, we're seeing probably a little bit of a topping of something like a semiconductor. All right, 6 minutes into the close. Let's do a bit of rapid fire analysis here. Let's go through some of our favorites in the chat. So we've had a little bit of a bottoming here of Square. Now, what you're going to notice is almost every one of these stocks is creating long leg dojis. So we've got rejections off the bottom, which is showing some buying pressure right around close to that $200 for Square. It's going to close here. It looks like the high, the low, the lightning, the movement in the middle, which is the long leg doji. So we might get a nice Wednesday. And remember, you get a decision made off a base like this, it's fairly significant. So that's Square. Apple trying to reverse itself, had some weakness in the morning. It's gone back up a little bit here. Amazon, we talked about it, long leg doji right at the correct level, looking for a closure now above 36.21 to continue our trend up. Google, very similar. Just a little bit of weakness here in Google. Not sure I love that price right now. Enphase coming down. That might actually continue to come down. It's had a very large move on it, so it's probably not the best. Now, this is where things get interesting. ARK-K, ARK-G, these types of funds from Cathie Wood, they're really weakening here. And it's pretty important to notice that if we close underneath this zone for ARK-K, not that I think overall doing analysis on Cathie's fund is worthwhile doing. Can you believe where we're at? Tesla is almost at, well, it's at all-time highs in terms of where it's really been. And this is really not the year for her. I mean, this thing it's going to underperform the market hardcore. So when did we start the month? Here we go. So we're underperforming hardcore right now, about 20%. So let's say you believe in this idea of innovation. You like Cathie's funds in general. I've seen this happen to a lot of fund managers over the years that have done well. They've done exceptionally well, and then their stocks do too well. Everyone goes on about it, and then in the end, it comes down heavily. So it's actually down negative 20% on the year. Now, if you like these companies, they actually could be partial bargains in the future, especially if it continues to decline. So just think about that. Negative 20% on the year, Was positive 20% on the year. Could be some interesting stuff here coming in the future. Who's the next Kathy Wood? No idea. I think Kathy Wood's idea is fine. I think her ideas are fine. I just think that she's in a reprice movement, and then they'll come back through in the future. I mean, I agree with her genetic concepts, but it's not the time for them just yet. All right, let's look at SPLK. This continues to unfortunately decline. It's got through 132. It looks like it's going, I mean, maybe this is the low, 124, 125, previous resistance, or maybe the low is 110. I don't know. I don't know where this thing stops right now. CRM, 50 moving average, seems to have held it up. That's a good one. TDOC is what it is. Barber coming towards our 130. Now, remember, the 130 level is the previous support from 18 drops. But that doesn't mean it's going to buy up. This stock is a serious issue. And I think it shows a warning sign to anybody. If the CCP get involved in the stock, and they're effectively involved in this one very heavily, you've got to not hold it. It seems to be a really bad thing. JD is taking the business from them. Twilio, new low, really bad. Could be max pain. So continue to watch the chart. Could be just a false break to the downside. But Twilio, another one of these stocks, just not looking good on the charts. Nvidia, obviously, that's pretty strong, but that's not great. Roku, no good. Etsy, it's just chilling around up the top. I feel like for me, Etsy's completed. We love this stock coming into this earnings, coming into the earnings season, coming into the consumer discretionary period. That was good. And DKNG hits our support. So we're finally hitting the support. Poor Scott. I hope it turns for you soon, man. Get the turnaround story on this stock, guys. Do not, unless you're investing, and it's probably more of an investment stock anyway, if you're trying to pick these bottoms, this is a decent zone for it. But just remember, the company burns cash. It's kind of like one of those marijuana companies. They burn cash a lot because they advertise a ton. And that's to get market share, and there are valid reasons. But this is right around that support. Airbnb, I believe it had pretty decent earnings, actually on support right now. Previous resistance becomes support. Will we dance off this area and move back up? 210 seems to be a big issue for Airbnb, but it's right back where it is. Falling knife, so be careful here, guys. Get some knives in the chat. Certainly is falling off. Yeah. Terry H says, John Paulson fund, after being a 2008 superstar, tanked 40%. Yeah, that's right. Always happens. Ian Douglas says, I've done quite well shorting DKNG. Sorry, Scott. Set trailing stop loss and going for long turns. I would give you a suggestion with your TA for trailing a stop loss. Try to find the moving average that it's shorting off of, and then find a moving average behind it that it hasn't come back to, and use the moving average. You'll be market adaptive, or use swings. If you just put a fixed trail, you'll get hit a lot, and that will hurt you up. Intel continues to be hard. Spot in the middle of nowhere, unfortunately. I checked that out before. NVAX still floating around the inverse head and shoulders. So if people like this, NVAX is right there. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. It's broken through the 200 daily in the previous session. It's got a lot of runway too. Think about this. From this point here, that's just to the top, is 29.52%. Wow. 29.52%. Holy moly. It's a lot of money floating hands on the NVAX. PLTR, people really like this level. I saw you guys discussing it before. Another long leg doji, looking for decision made. Bullishness through the Wednesday session. I think the story will be the Wednesday session, better damn oil hold. Oh, I didn't see this one. Oh, no. Oh, no. Zoom. No. Well, I can't tell you guys I didn't hate on this company consistently for the last year. Have I hated consistently on this? Yes. It's a horror. There's only one word for this, guys. And I'm sorry if you're in it. It's moat sucks. It sucks, okay? The moat sucks. You guys, see, PK Summon knows what I was going to say. Zoom equals no moat. Yes, the moat sucks. Microsoft's eating it up. They're like this. Nom, 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 nom. I haven't used Zoom 4 to 5 months. In fact, I try to reschedule my meetings all into Teams or something else just so I could make this happen. I mean, Zoom is just it's just like, think about it, guys. The best thing you can get out of this stream ever is actually a bit of Buffett advice, and that's to do with moats. If you're going to invest, think about your company. You're investing for a multi-year return generally. Traders trade for 1, 3 months, 6 months. That's it, really. That's all they care about. They don't care about the longevity of a company, and that's totally valid. But when you're talking about longevity of a company, make sure you consider the moat of the company. And the fundamental analysis by the boffins out there will not consider this. You need to consider it. They don't say, oh, it's got a great moat, you should invest. They say, look at this PS ratio, look at this PE ratio, look at this EBITDA, look at all this crap. Like, that's fine. It's all valid. But you need the moat and you need the X factor. Okay. Investment comes down to 2 things that robots can't figure out: this bit and the X factor. We explained the X factor the other day with the car smashing company, the car repairer. People come out of lockdown, they're psycho, they're rabid, they don't know how to drive, they hit each other. That leads to accidents, that leads to insurance jobs, that leads to smash repairs, that leads to profit for smash repairer. Amin says, thanks, Tom. I was shorting Zoom. Oh, man. Well, you're pretty happy today. $200, probably a bit of a support. I didn't notice this one, but yeah, ouchie. How much is it worth now? $61 billion for phone conferencing. I know they've got other things. It's probably getting a little bit more fair. But, this is the thing that you can even say, just quickly. I know I'm ranting about it, but I think it's some really important learning lessons. Do you remember when all of the street was buying it up here? You can't always necessarily think that the street is that smart. I mean, does the street make money? Yes. This is Wall Street. The big guys make tons of money, but they were buying it up there very heavily. They were, because you can see it in their filings. They bought Zoom very heavily. They made a mistake on this one. We're all human. We all make mistakes. I make mistakes regularly. We all do. It's whether we want to learn from those mistakes. And when something goes vertical and you're thinking about investing into it, investing, not trading, you've got to consider your X factors. And one of them is going to be that moat. Tom is a FaceTimer, lol. That is true. I'm pretty bad. I'm a little bit boomer on the tech. Tom, did you miss my super chat? Mark M, I will get your super chat immediately. Dave, could you possibly pick that up for me? Oh, I've got it. It's all right. Mark M, $2. Tom, the DT community might like Quantail.io. Quantail. What is this? Quantail.io. Well, I don't even know what that is. Can you send it to me, Mark, the ticket code or something in Discord, please? All right, so we finish up here, guys, and I know you like me to watch the close, but I mean, it didn't really do anything. It kind of just came up to the same point. So we have pretty much a strengthening into the close. Let's have a look at the 15-minute time frame here on the futures. Bam, bam, bam. Let's look at the SPX. Very nice little base formed here. Daily, actually quite bullish, coming off the 20 moving average. So we've kind of hit what we expected. And if you're watching again, the Monday video close, we mentioned we think there's weakness in the next session down to the 20. And then we're hoping for the stat to come through. The Wednesday stat, the Friday stat, the Monday stat. I don't want you guys going into Thanksgiving in America upset. You need to be able to afford the turkey. I do love American holidays, by the way. I'm kind of jealous of you guys sometimes in America. We have, we don't really have these things. We have like a football day and we have a public holiday for horses and horse racing. Can you believe that? We have an actual public holiday for gambling in Australia, in Melbourne. called the Melbourne Cup, if anyone's not familiar with it. But in America, you guys have some really cool like gathering sessions with your family. And I think that's something that I value a lot coming out of this pandemic stuff, especially when we were locked down so much. Anyway, regardless of that, Wednesday, Friday, Monday, these tend to be bullish days. Now, that's just stats. We're just having a guess, but we've got a nice turnaround story here on the SPX. It's had a little bounce here. It's had a nice little bounce. The US 100 is, of course, a different case scenario. And we forgot to look at IWM, but it's another long leg doji here, right off the bottom of our channel. Oh, yes, please, please, please hold this level. We've got our nice trend line. We've got our resistance. And we've got long leg doji. I want to see green Wednesday, guys. Green Wednesday, not red Wednesday, green Wednesday. Zoom certainly did get destroyed. Jay Needle says, after today, I am the turkey. Terry M says Australia Day. Yeah, we have Australia Day, but that seems to have been ruined recently. I don't know what's going on with that day anymore. We used to have like this thing where they'd play the top 100 song. I don't even know what day it's on anymore. I don't even think it's on Australia Day. Emma K, $2. Try a whole fried turkey sometimes. Well, luckily we have Costco, and I believe they do sell turkeys to us. I will try a whole fried turkey. Maybe I should have my own Thanksgiving dinner. Thanksgiving dinner with the stream. That'd be pretty cool. Cook the turkey. Trade some stocks while eating the turkey. You're a better American than most. Well, I kind of like America. You know, I'm a little bit capitalistic. I'm sorry. So yeah, Courtney, I probably am potentially. I think it's a good place. Anyway, we'll hopefully be coming over there next year. We'll go to Vegas, and we'll have announcement on that soon. So US 500, US 100, both, you know, US 500 flattish, US 100 obviously down. US 30 doesn't care because of the energy sector and the financial sector. IWM holds up well because of the financial sector. Remember, IWM is about 20% finance. So it's always important to understand your sectors themselves. It's all about tech getting obliterated here. The hyper stocks, nothing looked too good. Let's have a look at some more just into the close. Twitter. Oh, actually, how low is Twitter? Let's have a look here. Geez, Jack Dorsey companies they really suck, don't they? This Twitter stock, I swear, it's like the worst. It's the worst. I'm lucky that I learnt my lesson on Twitter a long time ago, and I never hold this stock. Never do I hold this stock. Never, ever, 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 ever. No. Don't know why it continuously underperforms, but it does. Talked about iron ore before. AMD. It's pretty expensive right now. Someone wanted Boeing before. Boeing continues to be annoying. So we're at support for Boeing. I really was thinking we got the first stage of recovery here. So I personally also believe this one is a bit of a first stage recovery. Here's the supports. Here's the second stage of what we were hoping would then become the longer term kind of participation zone. And I'm not lost on the Boeing yet. I still think that there's a potential for the turnaround here. I just hope it holds this level. So it's at a mega support at the moment. Please hold the mega support, Boeing. Then move back up. Then break this level. And then bring us to the promised land. That's what we would like. Can we have a look at Snap? Sure. Let's have a look at Snap. So Snap based, this obviously a lot of people were buying here. I remember you guys getting a bit crazy here. Based a little bit, didn't really do anything. It's come down again. Could that be like a maximum pain drop? Seems to have been a big level for it. What price? So it's $48.26. God knows why. $48. Yeah. Yeah, I could see an investor liking this price if they're doing a bit of social arb on it and stuff. Mark Newton says oil up, up, up. Jeff. Vegas is kind of disgusting right now. Was there a few weeks back. How's it disgusting, Gary? What's happened? Is it just dirty, or is it just everyone there's depressed, or what was I don't know what's going on in Vegas. Thank you also the 500 people joining us today. I appreciate you guys. We'll do crypto in just a second. ETH breakout. Yeah, I saw that. How's the cat? All good, Ahmed. All good. Thank you for remembering. Yeah, the cat is doing okay, actually. Tack Winwood. Thank you very much, Tack. $5. Thank you for recommending the technical analysis masterclass. I just finished it and I really like it. Well, that's very fantastic, Tack. I'm glad you enjoyed it. If anyone's interested, we do have a little bit of a Black Friday sale, I believe, on that. Or I may have ended. I can't remember. But we had an early Black Friday sale. You can always message me if you're interested. Thanks, Tack. Appreciate the $5, and I'm glad you're enjoying it. Just remember to always look at the left-hand side story. Few people don't do this. They don't look at the left-hand side, and they don't consider, has this stock acted technically in the past? If the answer is yes, then trade it technically. If the answer is no, then don't trade it technically. Very simple question. Has this stock acted technically in the past? So that's a little bit of an extra thought process there. Okay. Let's go through some further stocks. Looks like old John Deere barely hold here. SW Pay. This is still pretty good. This Stanley, Black and Decker. Resistances across the board. Support. There's a div in a few days, just so you know. But yeah, it's nice recovery chart. We've been looking at that for a while. All right, let's have a look at these Bitcoins. Let's look at the Bitcoins. So crypto. Continuously comes and puts pressure on this bottom. We get another nasty little like slight breach, which doesn't close underneath, and then a rally. So it's rallied here off the base. I still don't think until it gets past 60, we've truly put a base in. But you'll notice even smaller time frames, some people will be like, oh, that's a little double bottom within the overall trend. So they're already going to be looking at this Bitcoin from a strong side. I can understand the small time frame strength that people are looking at, but for me, it's all about 60. I want it above 60, guys. 60, then 61.5, then let's bring on the potential of an all-time high. Ethereum, at the same time, seems to be stronger. So let's have a look at the daily here. Ethereum has dropped, but you'll notice nowhere near as much. So it's dropped, but it didn't the second time didn't drop actually under 4,000 like Bitcoin did. It's still at the mercy of Bitcoin's price, but it's trying to put in a double bottom. And the double bottom seems to be going through this high up here around 4,430. Perfect, Ian. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. FX Evolution, any thoughts on high yield corporate bonds, HYG? Oh, I'm not a fan. Hey, high yield equals high risk. And while there is no risk to a degree at the moment due to the Fed's stimulus and stuff, I'm not a huge fan of high yield corporate bonds. I'm not a huge fan of bonds in general anymore. I just think that there's a place and a means for bonds and you can sometimes trade them. But in general, it's not about you're trying to just trade the capital gain component. You're certainly not going there to say, oh, I love being in my bond and earning 0.8% per annum. It sucks. The bonds are it's just a tough market. I've never seen a bigger bubble, I guess you would say, than I have in the bond component. Yeah, so Ethereum here looks to be basing. Go to the 2 hour and put the line above. We're looking for it to break through here. Nice formation. Bitcoin will decide it. Now, someone said before SHIB's gone down a lot. Is that true? Let's have a look at SHIB. Oh. What? So, anyone remember when we were doing the analysis on SHIB and we saw the dead cat bounce? Remember the dead cat bounce, guys? There it is there. Mark the end. Remember this and ingrain it in your mind, especially for these kind of stocks when they go insane, or crypto here. Remember, the dead cat bounce will generally go to a 78.6 fib and above a 61.8 fib. So a perfect one goes like this. Bam, it's over. Okay. When that happens, do not expect this stock to rebound, go to new all-time highs. Expect it to flounder with a series of rallies, but overall, it will decline. Look. So we need to always remember this one. There's the declining. Shib Army stay strong, says Nathan. Yeah. Hey, I love the movements. You know, I love that everyone loves these things and they hold and they do this stuff. But I think you do need to realize what you're in. And I'm more of a realist, I guess, on this stuff. You can make good money if you're in at the right time. But it's not a joke that people hold and lose all their cash either. Hodling on, a couple of $100 that you don't care about, why not? But when you start putting in your life savings into these things, I think it's super dangerous and I don't like it. I've got to say, I'm not a big fan of what's happened to a lot of people. I've heard some horror stories about AMC, GME, SHIB, Doge. Too much money in these. There's a difference between investment coins and gambler coins or fun coins. Looks like every other meme stock. Yeah, pretty much. That's what they are. It's based on hype. You get the hype, you get the FOMO, you get the, sorry about this, but you get like the really, like the 89-year-old kind of client giving you a call, or 89-year-old person, hey, I need to get in the SHIB. And when it goes through all of the age brackets, usually that's the end. When everyone's talking about the news is making a big deal, they're having a party, they've got like interviews on a current affair in Australia, if you know what I'm talking about. It's usually the end, unfortunately. At this stage, SHIB's just on support. But yeah, it's not. Obviously, it doesn't look strong. Let's have a look at some other coins. So ADA continues to float around 176. Pretty weak on the rallies here. We never got that full confirmation above 230, which we were looking for. KSM, it's another one that's I like quite a lot, as you guys know. Dot network, it's more of the coin that you use to start things. And KSM is finding a bit of a base here as well. So it looks like the crypto market's stabilizing for now. Bitcoin will obviously be the determining factor to that. 57,650 at the moment. And we're looking for it to break past 60K. When it does that, it should be good. Once CNBC hears about the hype run is almost done. Yeah, very, very close. The irony is that USDC and USDT is backed by high yield junk. Oh yeah, I'm always scared about USDC, USDT. They both terrified me for some reason. I was terrified of them in 17. I still am. I like to move into other stuff. I don't actually trade SHIB anymore. SHIB is a quick gamble. So why are you telling people to hold it? SHIB Army stay strong, says Nathan. Oh, that's all right. It's all good. Retail stocks getting crushed? Yes. Yes, they are. DKS. What's DKS? Exporting goods. I guess last time when we were here, we were doing some analysis on it and we thought it broke out into earnings. It's come down, retested it. Looked kind of similar to the market. It's had a nice bounce through today's session. Get the follow through on Wednesday. Hopefully it goes up. So I guess we'll end it there, guys. What we're hoping for on Wednesday is a green day. We're hoping for at least the majority of the market to go green into Thanksgiving. That's the stat. That's the general thought process here. And what we hope is what happens. So that's going to be one of the things you are looking at from a TA perspective. It has bounced back up here. The US 500, you can see the bit of a bullish hammer kind of aspect. You get that follow through the Wednesday session. Some day traders will come in and say, yes, I'm ready for it to move back up. And while it is down for 2 days and that seems scary, we've got to put it in perspective. Why is it down? Is it the Fed? Is it Evergrande? Is it something else? Who knows? Let's have a look at what the general thought process is. Nasdaq drops 0.5% as tech route extends. Well, whatever, that doesn't help us. Stock rises amid gains. Okay. Is this refreshed? Let's refresh this. All right, it is. This is what people are writing. What else have they got here? This is like, to me, it's just blah, 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 blah. OPEC seems to be partially why oil went up. I don't see any any reason they're even coming up with, but we'll see them find a reason. I'm sure they will. Remember, not every day does there have to be a reason. Markets go up, markets go down, they go all around, and we just need to be trading within them. To me, it's all about this US 10-year, really. Watching that kind of spike just puts a little bit of downward pressure on things. Plus, I think a lot of people were leveraged into some of the tech stocks, and Wall Street's stealing a bit of that leverage, a bit of that sweet options credit. So we'll leave it there. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you to the 500 plus people, 600 plus people that were here today. I do appreciate it. We'll come back in the next session. We hope it to be green through the next close, and we'll end up into Thanksgiving. So that'll be fantastic. I hope that everyone has a great Thanksgiving time and spends their time with their family. And obviously, if you can, get it done. All right. And hopefully it's all about turkeys and fun and green days on Wednesday into it. Catch everyone. Bye for now. What did you try, Kamal? I'll do yours to leave. Tom, look at CRO. Okay. What is this? Australian stock or the coin? I assume it's the coin. Yep, it's up a lot, man. It's new. I mean, it's got a little like ascending on it that just happened. It's not easy to TA something like this. You have very little history. So it's always, if you don't have much history, you can't really TA it. I guess the 20 moving average is holding on the 2 hour. It looks strong at this stage. Dollar's going to be a bit of a psychological point for it. And my suggestion would be look at the market cap. See where the market cap is. Look for the news coming out in advance. Try to get into before the news comes out, like well before. And in general, it's holding a bit of a trend, but it's got very little risk, very little movement on it. And we'll finish up with oil. A few people asking about that. Little double bottom on the 2 hours, what I see here, guys. I'll cover it in today's video anyway. So little double bottom on the bottom of the oil. It is where the zone that we thought it would happen. So anyone that bought like a 77 is probably happy with themselves. Is it time to buy it? I mean, traders will look at this and say, yes, I've got the base I want, and we've broken the downtrend. So here's the downtrend. We've broken the downtrend towards the upside. We've got the base. It's the first stage of recovery. And that's kind of the way I look at it. All right. Catch everybody. Bye for now.